Welcome to another edition of the Jamie Strong Show. I'm your host, and we have another great show for this evening. We are speaking, well, the topic is a little racy. If you have any little ones in the living room or the bedroom watching television with you, please, although this is not explicit material, it is adult conversation, so I'll give you just a couple of seconds to escort the little ones out of the room right now. Tonight, discussion is about rape, incest, and molestation inside of the congregation of women, something that's been hidden, I call their own little secret for centuries, something that most men do not know about. And we're going to talk about that. And we actually, well, I'll tell you this, how this whole topic came about a long time ago. As I was growing up, I talked to, I had little girlfriends here when I was in high school, and I would talk to them, and they would tell me that they had been molested by their in-laws, and they would walk around, and these guys that would rape them were still a part of the family in their everyday life. And it would bother me because personally I had 10 sisters, and it bothered me thinking of the possibility of them being molested by someone and not being able to talk about it, being shamed or being made to feel that it was an unclean conversation that little girls should not have. So I read this book by Lady Sorelli. The book is called My Journey to Peace with PTSD. It's a very great book, very interesting book. And the author, Lady Sorelli, is actually here right now with us today on the Jamie Strong Show. So please welcome her. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Now,
Glad to be here.
I knew you had to go out of your way just to make it to the show. You had to come from out of town, and you had to get a room and stay
Charlotte's
overnight.
big.
Right. And your husband, I talked to him outside the studio. He told me that you guys rode around trying to find the place, that it was hard to find. And but I'm glad you made it. I really am.
Thank you.
I talked to you on the phone. I met you actually through, I think it was a RAIN organization.
R-A-I-N-N.
Right.
Yes.
Now, what is this organization before we get started?
It's Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network.
Okay. Now, as I was saying before about how women should come and talk about this certain thing, rape, incest, and molestation, that it's a little secret, you know. I actually talked to my sisters about it. They didn't even want to discuss it with me.
Our society denigrates sexual abuse as something ugly, which it is, but they never tell the victims they are beautiful. So we take on the ugliness, so we hide it because no one wants to talk about it, because it's rarely ever outside the family.
Right.
Most of the time it's with a family member or a close friend. And because in my own family, with my experience of incest, my family denied it for 40 years. It was just a nightmare to my mom.
Right. Well, most women, I mean, I've never met a woman that was actually honestly talking to me about this as a friend, open, honest. What makes you different from all the women in the world who will not talk about this issue?
I got ticked off. Well, for one thing, and I also, as a spiritual counselor, I work with women. And
While you met at the raper?
no, I got angry with everybody because actually in 2003, I had a flashback of a 40-year suppressed rape scenario. It was very violent, and it shocked me. It was the only thing that took me to my knees, and I was not even aware that it happened to me. And over the course of my own therapy with a PTSD counselor, and having written my book, my self-esteem was as low as most of my clients.
Now, what is PTSD exactly?
PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oh, what is that, and what does it do?
Okay, it's a disorder. A lot of people equate it with veterans who've gone to war, but in fact, doctors or EMTs, policemen, anybody who's dealt with a life-death situation or where they've experienced a state of helplessness or no control. And they can either do it one time, it was really traumatic, or it could be repeated. And after a while, you become PTSD, which is insomnia, behavior disorders, or you could have flashbacks, which is a lot of them. And part of the symptoms is that these must be ongoing for 30 more days. Unfortunately, a lot of people are misdiagnosed as bipolar because the symptoms parallel.
Right. Okay, now let's go all the way back.
All right.
All the way back. How old were you when you first assaulted or sexually raped or molested?
My father tried to penetrate me when I was 7, and
You
he
were
was
7.
drunk. I was 7 years old.
Was that the
And
first time he ever tried anything with you?
No. I did not know until about 10 years ago that he tried to undress me inappropriately when I was 4.
Okay.
And that was when I started. And
Now, what do you remember him doing when you were 4 years old?
I don't remember when I was doing it 4 years old. I
Okay.
just remember that at 4 years old, I got a real pretty purple suit when we were very, very poor. I did not know why. It was a snowsuit. And that was the last I remembered until my incest experience at 7.
And what do you remember at 7?
I remember everything at 7. Well, not so much anymore because a lot of it, the memories are kind of going away, but I carried it for 60 years. I remember him playing cards.